Good evening, everybody. This is Charlotte Caven-Atack. Can I just ask you to put your videos on if you have not got them on? If you're a councillor present in this meeting, it needs to be on to fit the regs because we are now live streaming. Thank you.
Good evening and a warm welcome to the Rushcliffe Borough Council's annual council meeting. This is our first council meeting since lockdown was introduced, and it's lovely to see so many of us gathered together again, although not in. I would like to remind everyone that the meeting is being live streamed on YouTube. A recording of the meeting will be available afterwards on the council's YouTube channel. In addition, under the Local Authorities Executive Arrangement, Meetings and Access to Information England Regulations 2012, other people may film, record, tweet or blog from the meeting. The use of any such images or sound recordings is not under the Council's control. May I remind all participants that to ensure the audio for the meeting is as clear as possible, all microphones should be muted as a default setting to keep background noise to a minimum. Any councillor who wishes to speak on an item should indicate their desire to speak by using the raise hand function on Zoom. All councillors have received a copy of instructions on how to do this. Once your hand is raised, you will be invited to turn to speak by the Mayor. When you are asked to speak, please unmute your microphone by clicking on the microphone symbol on the bottom left of the screen. Once you have spoken, please remute your microphone again. In respect of voting, each councillor's name will be called out in turn and you will verbally confirm your vote. Votes will be recorded but will be not added to the minutes. The minutes will simply record whether the motion was carried or if it failed. I would now like to move to the first item on the agenda. So I'm here today as Deputy Mayor because the current Mayor cannot attend the meeting on Zoom. But first of all, I'm going to ask everyone for a minute's silence to remember those who have lost their lives or who are suffering due to the impact of the pandemic. The minute is starting now. Thank you, everyone. First of all, do we have any apologies for absence? Helen Tambini is going to report any apologies.
Apologies for absence have been received from Councillor Jeffries.
Thank you. Does anyone have any declarations of interest, please? That doesn't seem to be the case. So the next item of business, item 3, is to approve as a correct record the minutes of the meeting of the Council held on the 5th of March 2020. Councillor Robinson.
Yeah, I'd like to move those minutes, Madam Mayor, please.
You have
Sorry, I would like to second them.
We will move to a vote on that. So listen out for your names, please.
Thank you very much. When I read your name, please reply with a for to agree, against to disagree, or abstain. Councillor Adair.
For.
Councillor Bailey. Councillor Bailey will need to unmute your microphone in order to respond. Thank you. Councillor Bansal.
For.
Thank you. Councillor Beardsall.
For.
Councillor Bigham.
For.
Councillor Bigham.
For.
Thank you. Councillor Bushman.
For.
Councillor Butler.
For.
Councillor Clark.
For.
Councillor Cumberlack.
For.
Councillor Cotty.
For.
Councillor Dickman.
For.
Councillor Eddyveen.
For.
Councillor Gaunt.
For.
Councillor Gowland.
For.
Councillor Gray.
For.
Councillor Healy.
For.
Councillor Howitt.
For.
Councillor Inglis.
For.
Councillor Brennan.
For.
Councillor Jones.
For.
Councillor Major.
For.
Councillor Richard Mallender.
For.
Councillor Mason.
For.
Councillor Moore.
For.
Councillor Murray.
For.
Councillor Phillips.
For.
Thank you, Councillor Phillips. Councillor Perdue-Horan.
For.
Councillor Robinson.
For.
Councillor Shaw.
For.
Councillor Sims.
For.
Councillor Stockwood.
For.
Councillor Maureen Stockwood.
For.
Councillor Thomas.
For.
Councillor Upton.
For.
Councillor Verdi.
For.
Councillor Rex Walker.
For.
Councillor Jen Walker.
For.
Councillor Way. Councillor Way, are you there?
I think we'll have to move on.
No problem.
That item is clearly carried.
Councillor,
Oh, sorry, I thought it was the end.
no, not quite. Councillor Gordon Wheeler.
For.
Councillor Jonathan Wheeler.
For.
And Councillor Williams.
For.
That is the end. So that is clearly carried. And now we move on to the address of the retiring mayor. Now, this will be a video. If there are any technical hitches, please bear with us. And just in case there are, all councillors have been sent a link to this so you can watch it in your own time.
Good evening, everybody. I'm speaking to you from Cockgrave Methodist Church, where I had my civic service on the 8th of September in 2019. And I'd like to thank the Reverend Mark Roberts for allowing this to take place here this evening. Tonight is the occasion, I give an account of my year and thank the people from whom I have received help and support. Each week a list of events is published, but I would like to just mention a few. I attended 70 events. There is something quite magic knowing that people actually wanted me to be there, because I do so enjoy meeting everyone and talking to them, as you all know. The first was an opening of Lady Bay Skate Park to witness youngsters and the not so young performing tremendous leaps and twists, and it was quite incredible. Proms in the park. You know, our parks are so beautiful. It was good to see so many people enjoying themselves. 2 events on one day, the Hickling Scarecrow Festival and Normanton Nonsaw Church Fete. So one in the morning, one in the afternoon, quite a distance apart. Home Pierpont and Gamston Play Day, Tollerton Village Fete, Bingham Summer Fair, West Bridgeford Christmas Lights Switch On, and thanks to the people who escorted me on those occasions. A very special event was the World War Memorial unveiling on the side of the Trent. Very memorable. I thank the many officers of Rushcliffe Borough Council, especially our Chief Executive and leader. My team, who organised everything for me. My chaplain and special cadet. And all my fellow Rushcliffe Borough councillors. I would like to thank the Deputy Mayor Sue Mallender, the civic heads, known to everyone as the Chain Gang, for their enormous support, help and humour, and former pupils. My family for their unfailing love, and David, my husband. My 2 charities, as you know, were Links and Notts Air Ambulance and Headway. I would remind you that every 90 seconds, someone is taken to hospital with a brain injury. And just when our funding events were starting, what happened? Ordered to stay at home. And for well over 110 days, that is where I have been. I would like to give my very best wishes to Councillor Sue Mallender and hope that she has an absolutely joyous year with Councillor Richard Mallender by her side. Thank you.
I'd like to call for the vote of thanks for the retiring Mayor, Councillor Robinson.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Mayor. I just want to say a few words about Councillor Jeffries. I actually had a relatively short conversation with Christine this morning, which is quite unique. As many of you know, that she likes to get as many words in as she can. But just a few things I'd just like to mention, Madam Mayor. One of the things which does stand out is actually, even though she said the funding actually hasn't happened because of COVID, she still raised £3,000 for Headway and Air Ambulance, which I think is a fantastic testament to the support and the engagement that she's had over the last year. I think many of us who saw Christine in these events were very impressed by her commitment and everything that she really put into the job as a fantastic ambassador for this borough. I think there's a few highlights stand out in my mind. One particularly was the community awards, where she literally grabbed the microphone because she was determined to make a speech, of which we did. I think most of us know more about her relationship with David than we did before, as she tends to talk an awful lot about that in a very, very fond way. And I think it just adds really to the very special personality that Christine is, and certainly what she actually brought to being mayor. Just one thing I just mention, please, is that one of the things that she did attend, which was very unique, was at the DNRC, where she actually met Prince Charles, Camilla, William and Kate. So I think that was very unique for any mayor in the whole of Rushcliffe in the history. And of course, having that now within the borough was fantastic. And I know it meant an awful lot to Christine, as certainly the armed services and the rehabilitation is very close. I think we all knew when Christine took the job, she is a big personality. She does bring individualism to them. And I think it would be remiss if I didn't mention Santagate, the switching on of the lights. But I think we all thought, well, that actually is Christine, isn't it? And I think that summed it up, because she is truly unique, very delightful, and has been a fantastic ambassador for the borough. So on behalf of all the council, I'd really like to say a big thank you to Christine for the incredible work she's actually done, and to send her best wishes and ensure she stays safe, and we all hope that we see her again very soon. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Robinson. Councillor Gray?
I'd like to say a few words. First met Christine at the meeting for prospective council candidates, which must have been about 18 months ago. I was looking for my pen, I dropped it under my chair. She found it and passed it to me with this huge smile. We exchanged pleasantries, and I thought to myself, what a nice person. At the time, I would have never guessed she was a Conservative. The next time we met, Christine had just become mayor. I was leaving the room and stopped to say hello. I won't repeat what she said, but it did make me blush and laugh out loud. And there's this twinkle in Christine's eye. And as Simon's mentioned, you never really know what she's going to say. I think from these two exchanges, my opinions on Christine were set. The mayor has a very easy manner. She's great at putting people at ease. We talked a lot over the year, but rarely about council business. I remember talking with Christine about my youngest son, who'd been telling tall stories at school. Her first advice was to tell her the story of the boy who cried wolf. Although we agreed that since he's quite a bright boy, his takeaway might have been never tell the same lie twice. Her next suggestion was that he could use his vivid imagination to write her a story. We thought this would be an excellent idea, and I talked to my son about it the next day. He was very excited to be writing a story for the mayor, but his first idea was so far-fetched nobody in their right mind would believe it. It was about a man with a terrible disease who travelled to a distant castle with his family to test his eyesight. Children do have very vivid imaginations. His second idea was far more believable. It was about a boy who was made of cheese and lived in the world of dinosaurs. We are sending the mayor a copy of this story, and we very much hope she enjoys it. Just on my youngest son for a moment, if he can't get past his habit of telling fibs, we're confident he can at least become a special advisor, cabinet minister or prime minister one day. The mayor has supported two charities this year, which are very close to her heart. As we've mentioned, Headway and Lincolnshire and Nottinghamshire Air Ambulance. Many of us who in this virtual room who know Christine know the reasons for choosing these charities, and will understand why Christine always signs off with "Have a safe journey home" when saying goodbye. Over the last year, Christine's had a huge involvement with both of these charities, who have very much enjoyed working with her and will very much benefit from the over £3,000 raised. The Labour group debated whether to gift the mayor iTunes vouchers, which she asked for over email some weeks ago. But we decided to give the extra £100 to our chosen charities. We decided to call this the Labour Group New Deal, inspired by the government's levels of generosity to public services during the COVID recovery. Christine has a very strong faith. It's helped her through many difficult times. Unfortunately, this year she had to call on it when the media removed any context from the speech she made at Christmas. This was a very upsetting experience for Christine, but despite having her own difficulties, she's always had a listening ear and been a comfort to councillors on all groups. Councillor Murray was very touched when Christine offered to send her a crucifix as a token to help her through her own tough times. It's a shame not to see Christine live on screen today and experience her first online council. For some, this new technology will be very enabling and save the long journeys home after busy meetings. For others, it may take more time to become familiar with this format. We don't yet know when we can meet again in person and if our suit trousers will fit when we finally do so. But we hope until that time, members stay safe and well. The Labour group hopes that Christine's second term as the most important person in Rushcliffe was a good one, and we hope to see her in a virtual meeting too. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Councillor Jones.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. On behalf of former and present Liberal Democrat councillors, I would say to Christine that you are a stalwart and honourable councillor and an excellent mayor. Mention has already been made of the twinkle in your eye and the charities that you have supported. But I should comment that we've always found you to be straight, respectful to individuals, honest and forthright, totally unlike some of the bluffers in charge of this country. I first met you in person at Stamford Road Rugby Ground when you were mayor before, an event never to be forgotten, and you've always left a mark wherever you've been because of your strong personality and strength. I hope that you can relax in the knowledge that you are respected as a person and have served Rushcliffe very well. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Jones. Councillor Mallender.
Thank you. Yes, I'd also like to thank Christine for the excellent work she's done as mayor. It's a shame that she's not been able to get out and about as much as all of us would have wanted to over the last year. She's a big personality with a big heart, and I think she's done an excellent job as mayor over the last difficult months. I wish her all the best as she resumes her seat on the back benches, as it were. She's done so much to raise charity and sort of encourage people and help people over the years. And I think we've been really so proud to have her as mayor for the last year.
Thank you, Councillor Mallender. Councillor Thomas.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Yes, I would also like to extend my thanks to the Mayor for your wonderful contribution over your year of office. I'm sure we couldn't have anticipated at the start of the year what we would be facing now. I was delighted to see you in action at the Normanton-on-Soar Fete last summer, where you were warmly handing out prizes and generally officiating and looking as if you were enjoying every minute. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Thomas. Does anyone else wish to speak? Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. I'd just like to mention that Councillor Jeffries did so much as mayor that I only had a handful of events to do as deputy mayor. So this is going to be a big change for me, I hope. So now we come to the election of the mayor for 2020-21, and we need to consider nominations for the election of the mayor of the Borough of Rushcliffe for the 2020-21 civic year. So I invite nominations for the office of Mayor of the Borough for 2020-21. Does anyone have any nominations, please? I believe you may do, Councillor Mallender.
Yes, I would like to move that Councillor Sue Mallender be elected to serve as Rushcliffe for the coming year. And I'd be happy to speak on that.
Go ahead.
Okay. I'd like to propose that Councillor Sue Mallender be elected by us all to serve as Mayor of Rushcliffe for the coming year. Sue was first elected to the council in 2003, the first member of the Green Party to be elected to Rushcliffe Borough. And she's been the representative of Lady Bay ever since then. She's very much at the heart of the community. She's lived here for many, many years. She taught at Lady Bay Primary School. She's been secretary of the Lady Bay Community Association for over 20 years. She's been active and helped found many community organisations, Fields, Friends of Bridgeford Park, Friends of the Hook, local nature reserves, to name but a few. She's an incredibly busy person. She's an incredibly hard-working person. She holds down 2 day jobs as science officer at Nottingham Museums and Galleries, and also as a Unison steward. She's a loving mum to her 2 lovely daughters, Lizzie and Alice, who are joining us this evening. And she's a lovely wife who puts up with me. She's a dedicated, hard-working member of the local community and of this council. She's chaired many a meeting before and many conference before as well, so I'm sure she'll have no trouble keeping us all in line. I think she'll make an excellent first citizen for the borough, and I heartily recommend that you all vote for her to become Mayor of Rushcliffe for the forthcoming year. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Mallender. Do I have a seconder?
Yeah, I'd like to second Councillor Mallender. So on behalf of the Conservative Party, I would like to second the nomination for Councillor Mallender. I've known Councillor Mallender since I came on in the council, and I think one thing that's characterised of Sue and indeed Richard as well has been your incredible support for the mayor position. You're always attending events all over the borough. You've always been incredibly supportive in meetings, and also I know externally to the borough as well. So I think that it's very timely. I think it's absolutely right that Sue takes up this position as the mayor, and I'm sure that you'll be very worthy, committed, and a very proud representative of this borough. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Robinson. Are there any further nominations, please? There don't appear to be, so I will now ask Mrs. Cavan Atack to read out the names of the councillors for the vote, please. So this is the vote, all in favour that Councillor Sue Mallender be elected Mayor of the Borough of Rushcliffe for 2020-21.
Thank you. I shall start with Councillor Adair.
For.
Councillor Bailey. Councillor Bailey, you're still muted.
For.
Thank you. Councillor Bansal.
For.
Councillor Beardsall. Councillor Beardsall. Okay, I shall move on. Councillor Bigham.
For.
Councillor Bushman.
For.
Councillor Butler.
For.
Councillor Clark.
For.
Councillor Cumberlack.
For.
Councillor Cotty.
For.
Councillor Dickman.
For.
Councillor Eddybean.
For.
Councillor Gaunt.
For.
Councillor Gowland.
For.
Thank you. Councillor Gray.
For.
Councillor Healy.
For.
Councillor Howitt.
For.
Councillor Inglis.
For.
Councillor Brennan.
For.
Councillor Jones.
For.
Councillor Major.
For.
Councillor Richard Mallender.
For.
Councillor Mason.
For.
Councillor Moore.
For.
Councillor Murray.
For.
Councillor Phillips. Councillor Phillips.
For.
Thank you. Councillor Purdue Horan.
For.
Councillor Robinson.
For.
Councillor Shaw.
For.
Councillor Sims.
For.
Councillor John Stockwood.
For.
Councillor Maureen Stockwood.
For.
Councillor Thomas.
For.
Councillor Upton.
For.
Councillor Verdi.
For.
Councillor Rex Walker.
For.
Councillor Jen Walker.
For.
Councillor Way. Councillor Way. I shall move on. Councillor Gordon Wheeler.
For.
Councillor Jonathan Wheeler.
For.
Councillor Gareth Williams.
For.
That appears to be unanimous from all those people that have voted anyway. So I declare that Councillor Sue Mallender has been elected as the Mayor of the Borough of Rushcliffe for 2020-21.
Okay, Councillor Mallender, congratulations.
Thank
Can
you.
I ask you to read out the declaration of acceptance of office and to sign the book accordingly, please?
Thank you. I, Councillor Sue Mallender, having been elected to the office of Mayor of Rushcliffe Borough Council, declare that I take that office upon myself and will duly and faithfully fulfil the duties of it according to the best of my judgment and ability.
Thank you very much. I'd like to be the first to congratulate you. Thank you very much.
When I became Deputy Mayor last year in May, I expected that 2020 would be a special year. But never did I imagine that it would be as radically different from any other year as it has turned out to be. Many of the usual events that a mayor would attend in the spring and summer have been cancelled, and we have all become used to working almost entirely in front of a screen and at home. I would like to thank my fellow councillors for electing me to this very honourable position. I would also like to thank all the wonderful employees of the Borough Council and all the marvellous residents and businesses of Rushcliffe who have worked so hard helping one another through the COVID-19 crisis. And a special thanks to those staff members who have been emptying the bins, providing accommodation for the homeless and cleaning the streets and parks, and all the key workers living in the borough and the community volunteers that were so quick to set up into effective groups to help those more at risk. I have chosen to support 3 charities this year. Firstly, Nottinghamshire Wildlife Trust. During the lockdown period, many people have found going out in the natural world a huge benefit to their mental health. And from March to June, certainly, the quiet and clean air has allowed many to hear the birds sing and the wildflowers bloom. The Trust believes that everyone living in Rushcliffe should be able to experience wildlife day to day, whether it's sitting under the shade of a tree, hearing bird song on a walk, or spotting a hedgehog on a summer's evening. The Trust manages Rushcliffe's 41 nature reserves, such as Bunny Old Wood, Skylarks Nature Reserve, Wilwell Farm Cutting, and Wilford Clay Pits. Notts Wildlife Trust supports local conservation groups to manage their special wild places, such as Dewberry Hill and Lily Ponds in Radcliffe-on-Trent, Gresham Marsh in West Bridgford, Sharp Hill Wood, the Green Line, and the Hook in Lady Bay, where, as a member of Friends of the Hook, I'm going to the working party on Sunday this week. The Trust provides advice to local landowners and residents, helping them to manage their land in a wildlife-friendly way. Notts Wildlife Trust, perhaps most importantly, inspires younger generations to love and care for the natural world on their doorstep, working with schools, with the Rushcliffe Wildlife Watch Group and Green Rangers groups of 13 to 18-year-olds at Rushcliffe Country Park and Skylarks Nature Reserve, and many other young people. The Trust also protects wildlife in the wider countryside. The Badger Edge vaccination scheme, in cooperation with local landowners, tackles bovine tuberculosis within the Vale of Belvoir. So far, 220 badgers have been vaccinated. Secondly, Music Works. Rushcliffe Borough Council has a commitment to preventing loneliness and have set up the REACH project, giving grants to organisations and individuals helping to combat loneliness. Many people have been isolating as they are at risk and unable to see family or attend groups and events that have previously helped them lead fulfilling lives. Music Works is involved in a number of projects that use music in a variety of care settings to improve the quality of life for people with dementia, people who care for others, those at the end of life, and people undergoing medical procedures. The charity believes that music is central to our experience of the world around us. It is a primary source of the way we experience, understand, and interpret the world in which we live. It is one of the core experiences that define us, unite us, and enrich us. In Lady Bay, the ward I represent, along with Councillor Richard Mallender, Music Works runs the Heron Music Cafe at the Poppy and Pint pub and has been providing the service online during the lockdown. Last but not least, my third charity is Trent District Community First Responders. They attend 999 medical emergencies in the local community, starting life-saving treatment while awaiting the arrival of an ambulance. CFRs are trained and deployed by the ambulance service, but like the air ambulances, they receive no NHS funding and operate as a charity. The Trent District team operate 2 vehicles from bases at West Bridgeford and Bingham fire stations, thanks to the generosity of Nottinghamshire Fire and Rescue Service. With no paid staff or premises to maintain, every penny raised by the charity funds medical equipment, PPE and protective clothing, and helps to keep the vehicles on the road. Since forming 5 years ago, this small team of 15 volunteers has given 25,000 hours of their time on call and has attended over 10,000 medical emergencies. Local people saving lives when minutes count. I hope to be running events to raise funds for the 3 charities despite the COVID-19 situation, and all 3 charities and myself are thinking of safe and interesting ways to do this. I hope you will support me and perhaps think of some ideas. Finally, I try to live a carbon neutral and zero waste lifestyle and will be doing this as mayor. Travelling in a carbon neutral way whenever possible. I have cycled here tonight, and helping independent local businesses, such as in my own street, The Good Way, Pricewise, The Snail and Rabbit, and many more. Thank you very much for allowing me to be mayor this year. We now need to get to item 7, which is the election of the deputy mayor for 2020-2021. So we need to consider nominations for the election, the office of deputy mayor of the Borough of Rushcliffe for the 2020-21 civic year. Do we have any nominations for the office of deputy mayor, please? Councillor Upton.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and congratulations on your election as our mayor. I would like to propose Councillor Tina Cumberlack, please, as deputy mayor. And her father, Bill Jordan, was a former borough councillor, and Tina's been a councillor since 2009. She has served as community development chairman for 8 years and is now the corporate overview chairman. She has lived since her teenage years in Rushcliffe and ran her own successful recruitment consultancy in Nottingham, and also she became an SME business advisor. She served as a magistrate for 25 years, chairing the adult and youth benches, also the appeals panel and drug rehabilitation.
Her interest in people and a desire to improve community lives led her to also volunteer as an adult and young people's literacy teacher, and she worked with young people who were excluded and on the cusp of crime. But life isn't all work. She still finds time to pursue outside interests, winter skiing, painting and gardening, among others. And I'm sure, given her dedication to the residents and the local community in Rushcliffe, she would make an excellent Deputy Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Upton. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Richard Butler.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and congratulations to you. You'll have to get used to being called Madam Mayor this year. And good luck with all your fundraising activities and for 3 charities as well. That's very good indeed, so good luck. But I'm very pleased to second the nomination for Tina Cumberlack. I've worked with her for a number of years because her ward borders my ward, and so we find ourselves going to quite a lot of joint events in the villages, and she's very dedicated to her village communities, and she works very hard for them. She goes the extra mile to represent the residents and support the various initiatives that are going on, even way out in the sticks, so to speak. She's very well liked by her residents and colleagues, and she's respected for what she does in the Neville and Langer ward. And also we know that she likes to get her teeth into things, and so I'm sure that she will apply the same sort of zeal that we've witnessed to the position of being Deputy Mayor. So very pleased to second the nomination for Councillor Tina Cumberlack. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Butler. Are there any further nominations or anyone else who wishes to speak? In that case, we will move to a vote. So I will now ask Mrs. Cavan Atack to read out the names of councillors, please.
Thank you very much. Councillor Adair.
4.
Councillor Bailey.
4.
Councillor Bansal.
4.
Councillor Beardsall. Councillor Beardsall. I shall move on. Councillor Bigham.
4.
Oh, thank you, Councillor Beardsall. Councillor Bigham.
4.
Councillor Bushman.
4.
Councillor Butler.
4.
Thank you. Councillor Clark.
4.
Councillor Cotty.
4.
Councillor Dickman.
4.
Councillor Eddyveen.
4.
Councillor Gaunt.
4.
Councillor Gowland.
4.
Councillor Gray.
4.
Councillor Healy.
4.
Councillor Howitt.
4.
Councillor Inglis.
4.
Councillor Brennan.
4.
Councillor Jones.
4.
Councillor Major.
4.
Councillor Richard Mallender.
4.
Councillor Mason.
4.
Councillor Moore.
4.
Councillor Murray.
4.
Councillor Phillips.
4.
Thank you. Councillor Purdue Horan.
4.
Councillor Robinson.
4.
Councillor Shaw.
4.
Councillor Sims.
4.
Councillor John Stockwood.
4.
Councillor Maureen Stockwood.
4.
Councillor Thomas.
4.
Councillor Upton.
4.
Councillor Verdi.
4.
Councillor Rex Walker.
4.
Councillor Jen Walker.
4.
Councillor Way.
4.
Thank you. Councillor Gordon Wheeler.
4.
Councillor Jonathan Wheeler.
4.
Councillor Williams.
4.
So thank you for that. That appears to be unanimous as well. So I declare that Councillor Tina Cumberlack has been elected as the Deputy Mayor of the Borough of Rushcliffe 2020-21. Could I ask, apart from the person that's speaking, if you wouldn't mind muting your microphone, only there's a bit of feedback. Tina Cumberlack.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. And very many congratulations on your vote to be Mayor. I thank you all for that vote of confidence and trust I shall ably walk in the footsteps of past esteemed incumbents of this role. May I take the opportunity of thanking the retiring Mayor, Councillor Christine Jeffries, for her dedicated service and wish her all the luck in the future. Many kind words have already been said, which I would like to endorse. You're a star and have given a wonderful performance. I'm honoured to have been elected and hope to assist the newly elected Mayor, Councillor Sue Mallender, to serve the community, particularly in these very trying times, and I will do that to the best of my ability. I want to make the residents of Rushcliffe and my Neville and Langer ward, the council, my family, and particularly my late father, proud. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We now come to item 8, leaders' announcements. So would you make your announcement, please, Councillor Robinson?
Yeah, thank you, Madam Mayor. May offer congratulations to yourself and to Councillor Cumberlack, and wish you all the very, very best over the next few years in those very, very important positions. Madam Mayor, I would just like to make some announcements and comments now, as we all come through these very, very unprecedented times, and particularly, hopefully, as we emerge now, looking forward. Well, there's always going to be a focus of the authority going forward, our residents, our communities and our businesses. But I think it's really important that as a council, we do acknowledge that we are going to see significant challenges, particularly with the rise in unemployment. As many of you would have seen the figures recently, unfortunately the follow on that will be decreasing consumer spending, which will have a significant impact on the borough. Also, obviously, for many of our partners who we work with people like Parkwood. Also on the housing market, as we know, we are incredibly active across the housing market in Rushcliffe, and undoubtedly this is going to have a very significant impact as we go forward. I would, Madam Mayor, also, we need to highlight the vulnerable, the lonely, and certainly the elderly as well, and the low income of the borough, because particularly as we come out of this, we are going to see a greater sense of our population. But I think one of the positive things coming out of the pandemic has been the incredible community strength, and that we've reached out to our neighbours across the borough, and I think that will be incredibly important as we actually go forward. And last but not least is just to, in terms of climate change, that I know very close to your heart, Madam Mayor, is that we must build on the experiences and the lessons we've learned over the last few months, where we've actually lived in a greener world and a much cleaner one. And I think many of us have seen the benefit, and I'm delighted that one of your charities is with nature, as many of us have taken advantage of that time and actually go out there. But Madam Mayor, this is a time really now to work with our partners, such as the LEP, such as the Development Corporation, the other districts and county council, and also our parishes and our town councils have got such a very key part to play as we go forward. I also appeal to all members who work on all the committees, be it scrutiny, planning, standards, everybody, really to pull together, and let's really ensure that we do make a very concerted effort, and we keep our communities and our residents and our businesses right at the heart of everything we do. Increasingly, as we've seen, I talked earlier about the job losses, never before have our businesses been under so much pressure. And businesses are people, businesses are our communities, be it the high streets, be it the service industry, Rushcliffe is very proud of these businesses, and I think it's absolutely imperative that we keep these businesses afloat and that we support them everywhere we can. At the very least, that we make a big effort to use local services. We shop locally, and we try wherever we can, as I say, to keep businesses strong. And it's so fundamental to the economy of Rushcliffe. Going forward, Madam Mayor, I'd just like to announce my cabinet and to reaffirm the positions and the portfolios they will be holding. So in the housing and planning, it will be Councillor Upton. The neighbourhoods will be Councillor English. Finance will be Councillor Moore. Business and economy will be Councillor Edving. And community and health will be Councillor Mason, who will also continue as deputy leader. However, Madam Mayor, I would just like to make this announcement that after 17 years, Councillor Mason will be stepping down this autumn. And after such incredible service, I'll be saying more about this in our September full council meeting. But I'm delighted that Councillor Abby Brennan will be actually joining the cabinet in autumn. And I'm sure that all members of all parties will be wishing all the very best in this absolutely key position. She will be over the next few months be shadowing Councillor Mason in this portfolio to ensure a smooth transition. And as I say, this is absolutely key, and I'll be saying more about this at the autumn full council. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Robinson. Now we come to item 9, the appointment of committees and member groups for 2020-21. This report has been amended and reissued to councillors yesterday. So, Councillor Robinson, would you like to move this appointment, please?
Yeah, thank you, Madam Mayor. I'd like to, as I say, to move the appointments for the committees and the member groups. As I stressed before, these have never ever been more important to this authority. And with that, I'd like to move the proposal there on item 11. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Mason.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and congratulations too from me. I would like to second the appointment of committees. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? No one appears to have their hand up. Councillor Robinson, do you wish to say anything else?
No, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. So we'll move to the vote. All in favour in the same way as previously.
Thank you very much. Councillor Adair.
4.
Councillor Bailey.
4.
Councillor Bansell.
4.
Councillor Beardsall. Councillor Beardsall. I shall move on. Councillor Bigham.
4.
Councillor Bushman.
4.
Councillor Butler.
4.
Sorry, Councillor Butler, I didn't quite catch that.
4.
Thank you. Councillor Clark.
4.
Councillor Cumberlack.
4.
Councillor Cotty.
4.
Councillor Dickman.
4.
Councillor Eddyveen.
4.
Councillor Gaunt.
4.
Councillor Gowland.
4.
Councillor Gray.
4.
Councillor Healy.
4.
Councillor Howitt.
4.
Councillor Inglis.
4.
Councillor Brennan.
4.
Councillor Jones.
4.
Councillor Major.
4.
Councillor Richard Mallender.
4.
Councillor Mason.
4.
Councillor Moore.
4.
Councillor Murray.
4.
Councillor Phillips.
4.
Councillor Purdue Horan.
4.
Councillor Robinson.
4.
Councillor Shaw.
4.
Councillor Sims.
4.
Councillor John Stockwood.
4.
Councillor Maureen Stockwood.
4.
Councillor Thomas.
4.
Councillor Upton.
4.
Councillor Verdi.
4.
Councillor Rex Walker.
4.
Councillor Jen Walker.
4.
Councillor Way.
4.
Councillor Gordon Wheeler.
4.
Councillor Jonathan Wheeler.
4.
Councillor William.
4.
So that is clearly carried. And now we come to the approval of the timetable of meetings for 2021. So Councillor Robinson, would you like to move that, please?
Yes, I'd like to move the motion to the approval of the timetable of meetings for 2020-21.
Thank you. And Councillor Mason?
And I would like to second that. Thank you.
Is there any discussion? No one's hand is up, so we'll move to a vote on the timetable of meetings, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Councillor Adair.
4.
Councillor Bailey.
4.
Councillor Bansal.
4.
Councillor Beardsall.
4.
Councillor Bigum.
4.
Councillor Bushman.
4.
Councillor Butler.
4.
Councillor Clark.
4.
Councillor Cumberlack.
4.
Councillor Cotty.
4.
Councillor Dickman.
4.
Councillor Eddyveen.
4.
Councillor Gaunt.
4.
Councillor Gowland.
4.
Councillor Gray.
4.
Councillor Healy.
4.
Councillor Howitt.
4.
Councillor Inglis.
4.
Councillor Brennan.
4.
Councillor Jones.
4.
Councillor Major.
4.
Councillor Richard Mallender.
4.
Councillor Mason.
4.
Councillor Moore.
4.
Councillor Murray.
4.
Councillor Phillips. Councillor Phillips.
4.
Thank you. Councillor Purdue Haran.
4.
Councillor Robinson.
4.
Councillor Shaw.
4.
Councillor Sims.
4.
Councillor John Stockwood.
4.
Councillor Maureen Stockwood.
4.
Councillor Thomas.
4.
Councillor Upton.
4.
Councillor Verdi.
4.
Councillor Rex Walker.
4.
Councillor Jen Walker.
4.
Councillor Way.
4.
Councillor Gordon Wheeler.
4.
Councillor Jonathan Wheeler.
4.
And Councillor Williams.
4.
Thank you. Carried. And finally, the appointment of representatives to outside bodies for 2020-21. Councillor Robinson.
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. I'd just like to propose that appointment of representatives to those outside bodies for 2021.
I'd just like to draw everyone's attention to the fact that Councillor Way is no longer contesting the one position available on the Friends of Rushcliffe Country Park group. So a vote on this will not be required. So we're just having one vote for the whole report. Councillor Mason, I believe you're going to second.
Yes, I would like to second that. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. And now we'll vote in the same way. I'd just like to reassure members of the public who may still be awake, although I find that hard to believe. So we don't normally vote like this. Normally we just raise our hands and it's all over in a couple of seconds. So this is the last time. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Councillor Adair.
4.
Councillor Bailey.
4.
Councillor Bansal.
4.
Councillor Beardsall.
4.
Councillor Bigum.
4.
Councillor Bushman.
4.
Councillor Butler.
4.
Councillor Clark.
4.
Councillor Cumberlack.
4.
Councillor Cotty. Councillor Dickman.
4.
Councillor Eddyveen.
4.
Councillor Gaunt.
4.
Councillor Gowland.
4.
Councillor Gray.
4.
Councillor Healy.
4.
Councillor Howitt.
4.
Councillor Inglis.
4.
Councillor Brennan.
4.
Councillor Jones.
4.
Councillor Major.
4.
Councillor Richard Mallender.
4.
Councillor Mason.
4.
Councillor Moore. Councillor Gordon Moore.
4.
Thank you. Councillor Murray.
4.
Councillor Phillips.
4.
Councillor Purdue Horan.
4.
Councillor Robinson.
4.
Councillor Shaw.
4.
Councillor Sims.
4.
Councillor John Stockwood.
4.
Councillor Maureen Stockwood.
4.
Councillor Thomas.
4.
Councillor Upton.
4.
Councillor Verdi.
4.
Councillor Rex Walker.
4.
Councillor Jen Walker.
4.
Councillor Way.
4.
Councillor Gordon Wheeler.
4.
Councillor Jonathan Wheeler.
4.
Councillor Williams.
4.
Thank you. That is carried. And that is the end of the meeting. So I'm calling the meeting to close, and I will see you in, I think it's 2 weeks' time for our next meeting. So I do hope everyone has enjoyed our first virtual meeting. And I believe that the YouTube video will be stopped very soon. But if you wouldn't